So for me, certainly from the experiences we've had and the conversations we've had over the time at Lloyd, yeah, consistency was the word that probably came to mind for me in terms of key components, because you need a level of consistency across your management, across your language, the processes and the information that you're handling if you're going to successfully sort of harness that predictability point that Dave was saying, and that's certainly something that, you know, we're on a journey of needing to look at. How do we, you know, at the lowest level, how do you get the information into a usable, consistent way, but going up the tree, how do you make sure that your delivery teams are therefore setting their projects up in a near enough consistent manner that the information that's coming through is usable, and how do you then make sure that that's supported by ways of working and governance at the top of the shop that sort of takes on board what that information is telling you.
And I can imagine at times, Stuart, that's quite a hard challenge for any company. You know, you've got a project that's worth multi-million pounds, you know, run by some, you know, program director who's paid a lot of money to make that project a success, sponsored by a board person, maybe in a different division, and you know, you as a function may be saying, oh, you know, just apologies for the language, but can you just fill in this form in this way, and you know, make sure that's consistency. Is there a challenge around that type of stuff?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know the others' experiences on the panel. I mean, certainly within our organisation, you've got there's always a tension between the sort of the desire for clear oversight and clarity, and we talk in terms of delivery confidence, and the tension with people that are charged with delivering those activities in terms of needing to do it their way, or the inability to get the resources that they feel they need, that sort of thing. So there's always tension in delivery, isn't there, in terms of what needs to be done and what can be, you know, what best practice would say you should do versus what you need to actually do to get the job done. And sometimes those things are at odds. And obviously, you talked about this in terms of a change management piece earlier, Lloyd, and if I turned around to the organisation and said, oh, well, from tomorrow you all need to fill in this form in this particular way because it allows us to harness our AI capability better, you know, we would have, you know, immediate tissue rejection. So you know, you've got to be able to demonstrate the benefits, move forwards, and slowly build the capability in terms of that more consistent way of working, I think.
And I guess that's a challenge, whether you're talking about AI and project management, or whether you're talking about implementing, you know, standard project control processes, no matter what, Stuart.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, this conversation could be just as applicable to a conversation around risk or standard reporting, or you know, systems to help you deliver change. And I suppose, you know, the old adage of rubbish in, rubbish out is a very real practical problem here as well. It's all very well you can set the expectation, but if people aren't seeing the benefit for themselves, or the wrong behaviours come down the track as a result, you know, I put the correct data in, it tells me that there's a problem coming and I get penalised for that, then you're going to get unactionable information, as somebody said earlier in the session.
Excellent. So from Stuart's perspective, in terms of key components, it's all about the process and people following those processes. Tim, anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think, you know, I'll probably echo some of Stuart's comments in terms of you've got to take people on the journey. You know, if we try to change process, you know, instantly, we would have a huge amount of pushback. And we always have, you know, the kind of the tension between operations who want to lead from the front and drive something in, whereas, you know, we're trying to act with and be the conscience of the business to make sure that it's done appropriately and through a proper governance cycle using a proper methodology. And you've always got that tension of, I want to do it quicker, and we're saying, well, there's a best practice way to do it. For me, you know, it's about span of control. In terms of what some of the key components, you've got to have the remit to be able to control the process of the implementation lifecycle. I think once you've got that, you can start to drive some commonality in terms of what are the key things that you need to pick up and report on. And then you've got to have, I suppose, that mindset that wants to interrogate new and different ways, and have the backup using kind of AI to speak the truth. We spend a lot of time in our business about speaking the truth, and not, I think somebody mentioned it earlier, not giving a rose-tinted view on life. We have to speak the truth, and what I think AI will help us do is be able to back that up in terms of some proper conformed data points, as opposed to subjective experience based on huge amounts of years of data.